Every woman you meet runs an invisible audit, not of your looks, your job, or your money, but of your confidence. She watches how you react when she's silent, how you respond when she teases you, how steady you stay when she pulls away. It's not personal, it's instinct. But for most men, it's deadly because every time you flinch, overthink, or chase, you fail the audit. She won't tell you failed, she'll just disappear. The good news, you can pass every single test once you know the rules. Today, I'll show you the 5 sneaky ways women test a man's confidence and how to stay unshakable through all of them. Here's what most men never realize. Confidence isn't proven when things go right. It's tested when they don't. Every woman runs silent assessments not to trap you, but to see if your emotional energy is consistent. Think of it as a hidden negotiation. She's not listening to what you say. She's watching how you behave when she shifts the tone. Once you learn to read these moves, you stop reacting and start leading. So, before we dive in, like this video and subscribe if you're ready to master emotional strategy, not just survive it. Drop a comment. What does emotional control mean to you? Strength or silence? Let's begin with the first test, the one that most men fail before they even realize it's happening. Number 1, the apathy game. When she acts cold to see if you'll chase, you've probably been there. You're talking to a woman who seemed genuinely interested at first, smiling, engaged, curious. Then suddenly something changes. Her tone cools. Her eyes drift away. Her replies get shorter. You can feel the air freezing between you and your brain starts spinning. Did I say something wrong? Did I lose her interest? That's when it begins. The silent game, the apathy game. When a woman acts distant, quiet, or uninterested, most men panic. They start working harder to impress her, trying to fill the silence, make her laugh again, or say something clever just to bring back that warmth. But here's the truth. She isn't bored. She's watching. Women do this not to be cruel, but to see whether you're grounded in your own confidence or if your self-worth collapses the moment she withdraws approval. It's not even a conscious move. Most of the time, it's instinctive. She's testing if your energy depends on her attention, and this is where most men fail. The moment you start performing to earn her reaction, you failed the test because you've just told her, without saying a word, that your confidence is negotiable, that it depends on what she gives you. The cold act is powerful because it exposes the part of you that still seeks permission to feel worthy. If you need her validation to feel interesting, you lose your frame. If you can sit in the silence, comfortable, unbothered, and still fully yourself, you win. Women are drawn to emotional certainty, not the loud, flashy kind of confidence that brags or tries to dominate, but the quiet, steady kind, the one that says, I know who I am, even if you don't react. When she sees that, something inside her shifts, her apathy fades, her curiosity returns. Because that's the energy of a man who doesn't chase attention. He commands it, let's be honest. Silence makes most men uncomfortable. They rush to fill it with words, humor, or compliments, hoping to win her back. But silence is where real attraction is tested. The man who can hold his ground in it is rare, and rare always equals valuable. So the next time she looks away or responds with one-word answers, resist the urge to fix it. Keep your energy calm. Talk to her as you would to anyone else. Not because you're trying to win her back, but because you've already decided she's not the one defining your worth. If she warms up again, it's because your steadiness made her feel safe. If she doesn't, you've still won because you didn't betray your self-respect to please her. Either way, you stay in control. When a woman acts cold, it's never really about her attitude, it's about your reaction. And the men who understand this truth stop chasing warmth. They become the warmth. Number two, the disqualification game. When she tries to knock your ego down, it usually starts with a smile. That playful, almost teasing smirk that makes you think she's flirting. Then she drops it. You're kind of old for this crowd. Wow, that haircut's brave. Or the classic, you're cute, but you're not really my type. And just like that, your ego flinches. You try to laugh it off, maybe explain yourself, maybe joke back, but without power. You tell yourself she's joking, but deep down it stings. This is the disqualification game, one of the most subtle and dangerous confidence tests a woman can play. It's not about the words, it's about your reaction. She wants to see if you can hold your ground when your pride is poked. Most men crumble here, they get defensive. They try to justify themselves. Hey, I'm not that old. Or they switch into validation mode, suddenly overcompensating, trying to prove they're attractive or worthy. But when you defend yourself, you confirm her suspicion that your confidence is fragile because true confidence doesn't explain itself. It doesn't need to. Here's the psychology behind it. Women use teasing or negative feedback to reveal what kind of man they're dealing with. If you're easily shaken, you become predictable and therefore uninteresting. But if you stay calm, smile, and let her words bounce off you, she feels something powerful. Safety. She realizes your mood isn't dependent on hers. There are 3 ways to pass this test, each one revealing a different shade of strength. First, if what she said crosses a line, call it out. Not with anger, but with authority. You can simply say, "That was a bit rude," or "Careful." You might sound like you actually mean that. Your calm tone tells her you have standards. You're not afraid to enforce respect, but you don't need to raise your voice to do it. Second, if the comment is lighthearted and doesn't bother you, brush it off. Smile, change the topic, and move on. The subtext says, "Your opinion doesn't shake my world." That indifference, when it's real, is magnetic. Third, the most advanced move. Respond with playful confidence. Mirror her energy. Tease her back lightly. If she says, "You're way too serious," you can reply, "Only when I'm winning." That kind of comeback flips the power dynamic instantly. It shows you're present, composed, and sharp enough to dance with her energy instead of absorbing it. See, confidence isn't about proving you're perfect. It's about showing you're untouchable by small things. When she throws a verbal jab and you don't flinch, she sees strength, not arrogance, but stability. The kind that can weather storms without breaking. There's a moment that always happens after you pass this test. She pauses, smiles differently this time, softer, more respectful. Because whether she admits it or not, she just saw something rare. A man who doesn't chase validation because he already owns his worth. So remember, when she tries to knock you off balance, she's not being cruel. She's searching. She wants to know if the man standing in front of her can handle the world without collapsing. And when you prove you can, you don't just pass her test. You make her drop the games entirely because a man who can't be shaken can't be tested. Number 3, the leadership game. When she steps back to see if you'll step up, it sounds innocent. You ask her, "Where do you want to go for dinner?" She shrugs, smiles slightly, and says, "I don't know. You choose." Most men think that's casual. It's not. It's a silent test, one that reveals more about your confidence than any conversation could. This is the leadership game, a woman's way of seeing whether you lead or follow, whether you stand firm in your decisions or hide behind her preferences. And she does it instinctively, not because she wants to manipulate, but because she wants to feel your presence as a leader. Most women will never say this out loud, but deep down they crave direction. Not domination, not control, but clarity. A man who knows where he's going makes her feel safe to relax into the moment. Now, here's where men fail. Many, in fear of being too assertive, swing too far the other way. They think that being a good man means being agreeable, accommodating, always asking, "Are you okay with that?" Or "What do you want to do?" They confuse kindness with passivity, and slowly, without realizing it, they drain the attraction out of the connection. Because when a woman senses hesitation, she feels uncertainty, and uncertainty kills desire faster than rejection ever could. You see, leadership isn't about controlling her. It's about giving direction that allows her to trust you. When you hesitate, she feels like she has to take charge, and that role reversal extinguishes the polarity between you. So, what should you do instead? When she says you choose, take it as an invitation, not a trap. Smile and lead. Suggest a place, a plan, or an experience. Do it with calm certainty, not arrogance. For example, I know a quiet place that's perfect for good food and better conversation. Let's go there. That single sentence does more for attraction than hours of small talk ever could. Because confidence isn't loud, it's decisive. It's the ability to act without seeking approval first. But what if she hesitates? What if she pushes back, saying, "I'm not sure about that"? Then you hold your frame, not by arguing, but by staying relaxed. "No problem, we'll figure it out, but you'll like it. Trust me." That calm assertiveness communicates something primal, safety, and control. Women test leadership not because they doubt you, but because they want to trust you. The test isn't about dominance, it's about reliability. Indecision, on the other hand, is like static in a connection. It interferes with attraction. Every time you say, "I don't know, whatever you want," you're giving up a piece of masculine energy. And every time you reclaim direction, you restore polarity. That subtle pull that keeps her intrigued and relaxed in your presence. So lead, decide, set the tone. Be the calm in the room, not the echo of her uncertainty. When you do, something quiet happens. Her body language changes. She leans in, she follows, her voice softens. Because whether she admits it or not, she feels safe. She's not testing you to see if you'll dominate her. She's stepping back to see if she can trust where you'll take her. And when you lead from confidence, not control, she won't resist. She'll follow willingly. Because deep down, every woman wants a man she can trust enough to let go with. Number 4, the jealousy game. When she mentions other men to trigger you, it starts subtly. You're sitting together and she says almost casually, "A guy at work keeps flirting with me." Or maybe she drops a quiet bomb. "My ex texted me last night and he still checks in sometimes." You smile, or at least you try to, but inside there's that sudden tightening in your chest. You don't say it, but you feel it. And that's exactly what she's looking for. Welcome to the jealousy game. Women use this test consciously or not to see if you can handle emotional pressure without losing your composure. They want to know whether your confidence is strong enough to stay intact when your ego feels threatened. Here's the truth. She's not doing it to be cruel. It's a stress test for your self-worth. Because how you react when you think there's competition reveals the truth about your inner security. Most men fail right here. They react. They question her, analyze her tone, or get passive-aggressive. Some try to regain control by boasting, listing their own achievements, or subtly insulting the other guy. Others shower her with compliments, hoping to reassert their worth. All of it screams insecurity. When a man reacts from fear, he exposes the part of himself that depends on control to feel safe. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who loses emotional balance over imagination. A woman's respect isn't built on your ability to dominate. It's built on your ability to remain composed when challenged. If she sees that you can stay centered even when your emotions flare, she'll trust you. Because emotional steadiness equals safety. So, how do you pass this test? First, stay calm. You don't need to ignore her words, but you do need to remain grounded. You can smile and say something simple like, I'm sure he did. Then change the subject. That short, steady response sends a message. You're not threatened. You're in control. Second, if she keeps pressing, stay playful. You can tease lightly. Can't blame him. You are hard to ignore. You're not competing with the imaginary guy. You're reframing the entire dynamic back to ease and confidence. Third, if she crosses a line, hold it. Look at her, calm but firm, and say, I'm not interested in that kind of talk. It doesn't add anything to us. You don't scold, you set a standard. You show her that your respect has boundaries and that you don't play emotional games. What's fascinating is what happens next. When she realizes she can't pull you into jealousy or insecurity, her energy changes. The test ends. Her focus returns to you because now she feels something different. Trust. Jealousy for most men comes from fear. The fear of loss, the fear of not being enough. But for women, it's a mirror. They use it to see if you truly believe in your value or if you're just pretending to. Remember this. The moment you try to prove you're better than another man, you've already lost. Because the high-value man never competes. He selects. When you stop trying to control what she says or who she mentions, you shift from scarcity to abundance. You show that you know your worth, that your peace can't be stolen. So, next time she talks about another man, don't let your ego run the conversation. Breathe, smile, stay present. If you do, she'll stop testing and start trusting because jealousy doesn't show love, it shows fear. And the man who isn't afraid to lose her is usually the one she never wants to lose. Number 5, the push-pull game. When she plays, hard to get. She leans in close one day, warm eyes, easy laughter, the kind of softness that makes you think. Finally, she's into me. Then the next day, it's like you don't exist. Her texts slow down, her tone shifts. You start replaying every word you said, wondering what you did wrong. And that's exactly where she wants you. Not because she's cruel, but because she's curious. This is the push-pull game. The final and most frustrating test, it's the one that exposes your emotional endurance, your ability to stay composed when connection feels uncertain. You see, attraction in her mind isn't built on comfort. It's built on polarity, that electric space between pursuit and patience. By pulling back after showing interest, she's observing one thing. Will you stay centered or will you chase? Most men chase. They double text. They try to fix the vibe. They ask, did I do something wrong? They turn a moment of silence into a performance for approval. But here's the truth. The moment you start chasing, the dynamic shifts. She becomes the prize and you become the pursuer. And in that imbalance, desire fades. Her distance isn't rejection, it's data. She's reading your energy. She wants to see if your calm is real or conditional. Because if your confidence vanishes the second she withdraws, it was never confidence. It was hope in disguise. So, what's the right move? You don't mirror her distance with coldness, and you don't chase her attention either. You stay steady, you keep your rhythm, you let her space exist without turning it into a story about your worth. If she pulls back, you pull back too. Not out of spite, but out of respect for your own energy. Continue your life. Stay active. Stay in motion. She needs to feel that your world doesn't shrink when she steps away. And when she comes back, because most women do, meet her warmth with calm acknowledgement, not overexcitement. Smile, engage, but don't reward inconsistency. That balance is what separates men who get tested endlessly from men who are remembered. Now let's go deeper. Why do women play this game at all? It's not about manipulation. It's about attraction calibration. They want to feel your strength, not in dominance, but in consistency. Every time they pull back, they're asking silently, are you emotionally steady enough for me to trust? The answer isn't in chasing, it's in patience. It's in understanding that real attraction doesn't need constant reassurance. It's magnetic, not desperate. When you stop reacting to every fluctuation of her mood or attention, she begins to feel your energy differently. You stop being just another man trying to win her and become a man she wants to understand. Here's the paradox. When you stop chasing her validation, she starts chasing your energy because now she's the one who feels uncertain. And uncertainty is the birthplace of desire. That's the secret behind this test. It's not about her being unavailable. It's about showing her that your value doesn't depend on her consistency. So when she goes cold after being warm, don't take it personally. Don't rush to fill the silence. Don't beg for clarity. Let her wonder. Let her curiosity rebuild the attraction she's trying to measure. Because in the end, confidence isn't about always being chosen. It's about being unshakable even when you're not. And that's what ends the game. Not words, not effort, just presence. When you stop being tested, you become the test. Remember that scene from the beginning? The woman who smiled then fell silent, her eyes quietly measuring you. Now you understand what that silence really meant. It wasn't rejection. It wasn't disinterest. It was a mirror. Every man at some point faces that mirror. The moment he's no longer validated, no longer reassured, no longer chosen. That's when confidence is revealed. Not built, not performed. That's revealed. These tests aren't games. They're reflections of your steadiness. A woman doesn't test to break you. She tests to feel safe with you. Because true confidence doesn't chase. It doesn't explain. It simply is. So, if what you've heard today made something click inside you, if it forced you to see how much of your confidence still depends on reaction, then this is your wake-up call. Start reclaiming your power. Start paying attention to your silence, your tone, your energy, the things that speak louder than words ever could. And the next time a woman tests your confidence, don't flinch. Smile. Breathe. Remember, you're not here to pass her tests. You're here to embody the standard she's trying to find. If this message hits something inside you, subscribe to this channel. Share it with a man who needs to hear it. And tell me in the comments which of these 5 games have you seen the most, because awareness isn't the end. It's the beginning of control. Confidence isn't built in a single moment. It's built every time you choose not to react. And when you can do that, when you can hold your ground in silence, rejection, or uncertainty, that's when you stop playing the game. That's when you become the one she can't stop thinking about.